The year is 1777. General George Washington, Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, has had some major successes so far. On April 19th, 1775, he won at both Lexington and Concord, and on July 17th, 1775, he won at Bunker Hill. However, a few days after the Declaration of Independence was signed, a British fleet sailed into New York Harbor. Washington engaged with the troops on that fleet in the disastrous Battle of Long Island, where, if a thick fog had not rolled in, the Continental Army may have ended. The Battle of Long Island saw the first appearance of Hessians. They also played a big part in an event that happened on Christmas of 1776. While a camp full of Hessians was sleeping, George Washington and his troops sailed across the Delaware. And the next day, the 26th, they captured many Hessians at the Battle of Trenton. A few days later, on the 3rd of January, Washington had a big victory at Princeton. General John Burgoyne presented a divide-and-conquer strategy to the British ministers in London. He proposed that he enter New York from the north in Canada, while British generals Howe and Clinton would provide support from the New England colonies. This plan, if executed successfully, would isolate the north from the south, cutting the country in half. And in June of 1777, his troops departed from the Lake Champlain area. However, they soon spotted Fort Ticonderoga and decided to take it in a siege that lasted from July 2nd to July 6th. Some of the troops were able to escape Fort Ticonderoga. They marched into the woods, but were captured and forced to surrender at the Battle of Hubbardton on July 7th. Despite this victory, the British still had some trouble. With people like General Schuyler felling trees and a dearth of supplies, by August, Burgoyne was desperate, so he sent some Hessians to capture a supply depot in Bennington. Thanks to General John Stark, nearly 500 Hessians were captured. Seeing a lot of action shape up in the New York area, General Washington knew that the troops there needed reinforcements, so he sent Colonel Daniel Morgan and his infantry of sharpshooters to support them. He also sent the toughest general in the American Army, General Benedict Arnold. At the same time, command of the New York Army had been transferred to General Horatio Gates, who set up fortifications on the Hudson. Unbeknownst to Gates, the British were planning to surround them, meaning his fortifications would be useless. It was Benedict Arnold who realized this, saying, "We must fight them in the woods." According to the diary of Lieutenant Samuel Armstrong, at around 12, the troops heard musket fire coming for the woods. The troops rushed out of their encampments, and the First Battle of Saratoga started. Seeing that he had no chance, at winning this one, Burgoyne escaped, awaiting reinforcements from General Howe and Clinton. However, despite promising to do so in a letter, Howe completely neglected Burgoyne. Instead, he marched off to try to capture Philadelphia. Also, General Clinton had left Burgoyne to try to capture Forts Clinton and Montgomery. Burgoyne was now desperate, so he staged a second attack. Worried that Arnold might steal his glory, Gates told him to stay behind. Arnold did not. Notably, during the battle, as General Simon Fraser was rallying his men, Washington ordered a sharpshooter to dispose of him. Tim Murphy, the best sharpshooter in the Revolution, proceeded to climb a tree and shoot the general. Burgoyne's army was pushed back, but they were eventually found and captured. The battle was over, and the Americans had won. The surrender negotiations ended October 16th, and the British laid down their arms a day later. Supposed to be sent back to Europe. However, Congress went back on this agreement, and the troops spent the rest of the war in prisoner camps. Also, General Gates, enjoying popularity after Saratoga, tried to take command of the entire Continental Army in an episode called the Conway Cabal. But when a drunk Colonel James Wilkinson spilled the beans, this plan did not go as planned. Also, the British, seeing that the North was hopeless, moved on to the South, only to be decimated at the Battle of Cowpens and at the Battle of Kings Mountain. News of Saratoga reached England on December 1st. This threw the British Parliament into a state of chaos, so much so that they sent a letter to America, promising them everything they had ever asked for in return for their allegiance. This was rejected. They also asked for aid from other countries. This was rejected as well. In 1776, America had sent Benjamin Franklin over to Paris to try to negotiate a treaty of alliance, but France was hesitant, because America had not won any significant battles. Saratoga convinced them. The treaty was signed on February 6, 1778, and in the spring of that year, a French fleet sailed over to America, carrying armies commanded by the Marquis de Lafayette and volunteers such as the Comte de Rochambeau. The Netherlands and Spain also joined in the cause. Saratoga was a crucial battle. It shut down the British in New York, and it secured foreign aid. All these things considered, it truly earned the title of a turning point in history.